Today, I will show how one invention, James Watt's steam engine, turned steam into motion and launched the Industrial Revolution.
Until the 18th century, the world was powered by muscle, water, and wind. People worked with their hands, animals pulled loads, mills turned only where there was a river, and ships depended on the weather. Production was slow and tied to a place. If there was no water wheel, there was no factory. Energy existed, but it was limited, unstable, and unpredictable. Humanity did not yet have a universal source of power that could be turned on anywhere and at any time. People have long known that heated water turns into steam. They saw how the lids jump on the pots, how the steam bursts out with enormous force. But for a long time, it was perceived only as a household phenomenon and not as a source of energy. The first steam engines appeared even before Watt, but they were inefficient, voracious, and slow. They burned a lot of fuel and provided little benefit. Steam existed, but humanity did not yet know how to control it. James Watt did not invent the steam engine from scratch. His genius lay elsewhere. He saw the main problem. In old engines, the cylinder was constantly heating and cooling. This meant a loss of energy with each cycle. Watt realized that if you separate the heating and cooling processes, the engine would become much more efficient. This led to the key solution, a separate condenser. It seemed like a small thing, but it changed everything. The principle of operation of Watt's engine was surprisingly logical. Water is heated, steam is formed. The steam enters the cylinder and creates pressure. This pressure pushes the piston. When the steam cools and condenses, the pressure drops and the piston moves back. This is a reciprocating motion. For the first time in history, man made steam work rhythmically, predictably, and continuously. Time and motion merged in one mechanism. But the piston moved back and forth, and factories needed rotation. Here, Watt made another breakthrough. A system of connecting rods, rockers, and flywheels converted the linear motion of the piston into rotational motion. The wheel began to spin evenly. The rotation was transmitted by shafts and belts to dozens of machines simultaneously. A single steam engine could power an entire building. This was the moment when energy ceased to be local and became scalable. When an electric current passes through a material, it encounters resistance. This resistance slows down the movement of electrons. The deceleration is converted into heat. If the material is thin and has sufficient resistance, it heats up so much that it begins to emit light. This phenomenon is called incandescence. But there is a balance here. Too little resistance, there is no light. Too much, the material is destroyed. Edison's task was to find... Edison did not look for the ideal material theoretically. He acted differently. He sorted through everything that existed. Cotton, linen, paper, thread, hair, bamboo. The materials were charred, placed in a vacuum, and passed through a current. According to various estimates, there were more than 6,000 experiments. Most lamps burned for seconds or minutes, but each failure provided data. Edison did not ask why it did not work. He asked how many more options were left.
Control over space, the birth of the global world.
The key was the combination of two solutions, a carbon filament, and almost complete vacuum inside the lamp. Without oxygen, the filament did not burn, but only glowed. One of the lamps worked for over 40 hours. This was the moment when light ceased to be an experiment and became a device.
Thanks for watching. If you liked it, subscribe to the channel, and there are many more stories about inventions that changed the world.